Hello guys, and welcome back to Whizzo's World of Minecraft, where today I have got a few things planned. Firstly, we are going to go over to the iron farm. Then we are going to be having a look at the entrance to the slime farm. Then we will dig out a big island. And then we will work on something a little bit more sneaky. So, I have now tested the iron farm on the left, and I've decided that I am most definitely going to be doing the same thing to the iron farm on the right. Let's just check to see whether we have any witches. Are those witches? No, those are not witches. There was a few thunderstorms when I was AFKing. So I'm a bit worried that one of these guys is going to get turned into a witch. Because if a villager gets hit by lightning, it turns into a witch. So it's something that I'm just keeping an eye on. So as you can see, I've built up this platform here. And I'm going to have to move the villagers across and this way a bit. And that guy has to move over to there. But I'll do that off camera, and then later on in the video I will kind of show how I did the water, because the water is probably the worst bit of this build. That looks weird from that angle. The stone slabs there look like they're made out of quartz, even though they are made out of stone slabs. And yeah, I tested both of them for about 8 hours each, and we'll have a quick look at the comparable rates. Just to show you that this one is indeed a lot faster. So this is all the iron we got. I think I might have squared out the iron, but it was like 9 stacks in 8 hours. That's a respectable amount, and I've been taking out any extra iron. And I've been using it for various stuff. The new villagers for the next iron farm are stored off over in that area there, so hopefully they are all out of view of this village here. They should be. If I start getting golem spawn on the doorway, I will move them back a bit more. And over here we have the iron for this one. As you can see, only 2.5 stacks. And those were for the same amount of time. It was for roughly 8 hours. I don't know the exact time because I was kind of went to bed and woke up and then went and checked it. And this guy I still need to move back. So that's the iron farm situation for now. So I will move the villagers across, build the next platform, knock that platform down, and then I'll show how the water goes for that area. And I'll also put the doors in, because that one hasn't been producing iron for quite a while. Because I took out all the doors to replace them and then kind of forgot about it. So yeah, what have I done on this island? So I have moved the beacon up to a permanent location in the center of the island. It was actually quite hard to find a spot because the tunnels are kind of fairly intermeshed within the island. So trying to find a good spot was actually quite tricky. I was planning on putting it down here. However, the slime chunk and the redstone got in the way of that. So yeah. Because I want it as deep as possible. Because I do want to add speed and possibly resistance. To make a beacon of 3. However, I am having the worst luck ever with withers. If we go into our statistics and our mobs, and if we scroll down to the wither setting, okay, they've only killed me 1 time. Possibly skeletons, or was it the blazers that killed me? Blazers? No. Okay. Does it have wither? It doesn't have wither. Oh, that's a bit strange. It should say here that a wither killed me several times. For some reason my statistics are a bit dodgy. But yeah, I've been dying several times to various things in the Nether. So I think I'm going to be building a wither farm at some point. So what have I done around this island? So I have been tidying it up a bit. So the Nether portal, I polished it up from last time, and now it has a nice obsidian decor here. However, I am probably going to be changing out the obsidian to something else in the future, and possibly building up a bit more stone around this area. So I built up a beautiful cave, and then I tried to put a door in it, and now I need to move the cave to fit the door. We'll talk about the door in a second. So the idea was that the cave would go down here, like through where this door is now placed, and along this floor here to have a nice balcony out onto the other ocean monument, which we need to convert, and then round and down. And this is the door, which is the fastest 2x2 glass door possible without being ridiculously humongous. And I will say that with great confidence. I am going to be going through the design for this door on Friday's Redstone video. I will kind of give it a kind of a rough overview here. So this is it. It's quite complex. So you got like pulse limiters, zero-tick pulse generators, lots of fancy stuff. It's largely unchanged from the tutorial, except for down here, the torch, which runs down here, it should go like that way, but I moved it this way so it wouldn't get in the way of the villager breeder. And in terms of the villager breeder, I need to... Do I have any ender pearls? No, I don't. Please fly. Ah, I didn't fly. Sometimes I can do that jump, sometimes I can't. So, yeah, basically the entire villager rail that we spent forever on is going to have to be ripped up. So it went along there, and down here. It's going to instead have to go over here, and I'm actually going to move this all up a bit. But I'll do that all off camera because I've already been through this before, so I'm not going to go through it again. It's just going to happen. And here is the beacon. So when we actually move this, it'll actually hide the beacon from view. And down here, I'm trying to kind of rush because I don't want to spend too long on this video. Down here, I'll talk about that in a sec. I changed around the entrance here, so this is the entrance down. So this now has to be a lot lower. And as you can see here, there is a redstone carrying line here, which I should probably change to stone, or I'll wait until I decide to actually like decorate this area, because I'm thinking of theming it like the slime is kind of growing into the walls, like it's the island is charged with the power of limes. So I'm planning on like adding in crevasses, so like holes like this and then like that, ignore the sea lantern, and then you'll have like glowstone hidden or a sea lantern hidden up there, and then you'll have slime like poking out to about here, and I'll possibly throw in some emeralds and say maybe some green glass as well. So yeah, I've also dug this in a bit just to make it a bit more kind of, you go in and then it's like a grand kind of opening, and then you can go over to here to view down at the slime chunk. I will play around with where that goes. And then you have the villager. And then I've tidied up this ravine here, so now it's a bit more of a cleaner kind of fall. I'm considering whether I should just smooth this off or whether I should like dig it down in the center. And then like put lava at the bottom, because along where these blocks here, I'm just going to put some grey glass. So it's kind of like the cave is bowing. Ooh! I have fallen down this cave one too many times. Right, and so over here, we are going to have the slime storage. Now, I'm thinking of having everything being converted into shulker boxes. So the idea is that I'm going to have one row for slime balls, another for slime blocks, and then I'm also going to have like an overflow chest. So just in case I like drop anything down there, or if somehow a mob spawns or an endermine spawns, teleports into there, I'll be able to clear out the drops and it won't smudge out everything. So in terms of bringing the blocks up, here is where I have made an item elevator for. We're going to go check that out. That was a bit of a lie. I have the preparations for an item elevator made. So the idea is that I'm going to redirect the water streams. Oh, that's the minecart. So I was like, what? What nice is that? I am still having issues with the minecarts kind of freezing. As you can see, all of the slime balls, all of the chests are full here, so I do need to increase the storage. I do have issues with the minecart stopping, so I think at that end I'm gonna like run a redstone line and just to give it a way of pausing. So I'll have like a regular rail and then an unpowered rail, just so I can pause it whenever I unload the chunks, because that is why I am occasionally getting stuck minecarts, because they are an absolute pain to repair. And I'm going to pick up all of these, aren't I? Yep. So yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to redirect all the water to flow this way. Along here, I need to put impact ice, so I probably will need to have another trip over. And then it will enter a dispenser. So the sea lantern we saw at the top, this is like the opposite direction to it. So we're going to have a dispenser and then it's going to fire up. I've checked, solid blocks all the way up. So hopefully we should have slime balls come up out the other end. So if we quickly hop back up there, that'll do. The idea is that you can kind of see the items flow along. So I think what we're gonna have is we're gonna have like the wall here, slabs here, and the water here. So if you imagine that this is pushed up one, I don't have any blocks on me, so I can't show you. And then you can watch the items flow across, and then it'll enter into the storage system. I think that'll be a cool idea. A cool way of like visualizing it. Or depending on how complicated the storage, because I have some fairly grand plans, how complicated the storage is, it might just be like a visual way. So instead, it'll be like, but yeah, there's an ocean there. Instead, we can have like a glass tube here, and then you can watch the items flow up. That's the other way. The other thing I will possibly do, though I think I'll build the storage thing first before we get started on that. And that'll be for another video because I'll explain a bit later why. And then over here, you remember the pigman we used to transport the villagers over? I think we should give him a tribute about here. So I'd have to think of a suitable like kind of building thing for him, possibly like a little Nether thing or like the Grand Migration, like Wild Westy style, and have him stationed in here. I think that'll be a cool little addition to have on, but I'm not going to worry about it too much at the moment because I want to focus on other stuff for today, which is draining the ocean monument. Yes, that's right. Today we are going to begin the task of beginning to think about draining the ocean monument. Hopefully by the end of tomorrow, or not tomorrow, next video, we'll have it drained. So the plan is, I can't remember exactly which hermit did it, I think it was Cubfan, but I'm not entirely certain, is he built up sand and then he kind of dropped it all down. And I think we're going to do something similar, except we're going to try and time-lapse it a tiny bit nicer. Hopefully it'll work. I've got plans on how I'm going to time-lapse it. I'm not really certain whether it'll work or not. But for that, we need a lot of sand, because if we do some quick mental arithmetic here, it's a big by big by... How deep is it? 1, 2, 3... Let's say 40 by 40, and at the deepest point, it's 41. So a 40 by 40 by 20 is 80, 160, 240. So we need about 240,000. No. Okay, I checked. It is actually 58 by 58. And the lowest that the ocean monument goes down to is 39. However, that is the floor of the monument. So we only need to count it from Y40. And the sea level is 63. So we have got 58 by 58 by 23, which comes out to just under 80,000 sand. And if we consider that in a shulker box, we have got 1, 2, 3 by 9. So that is 27. 27 times by 64 is... Did you calculate it? That's right, it's 1,700, roughly. So, if we round that up to about 2,000, we would need 2, 20, 40? We would need 40 shulker boxes, I think. Possibly. Maybe like 20. I don't know. I'm trying to mentally mass it, and I'm really failing. So, for that, we are going to need a lot of sand. And I have dug out, for the sand, the island by the witch hut. So now there will be a quick little time lapse, and then we'll see how much sand we got out of that island. all the digging is done. I managed to not lose any durability out of my tools. I don't know how that happened. And this is the amount of sand we got. Yeah. We're going to need 20 shulker boxes. So I don't think digging is the way forward. No, we need to think a bit more technically, don't we? Because this is meant to be a technical survival series, not just a survival series. So let's think about how we can turn this into an ocean monument size box of this. So I have been doing some work in the Nether. So this is what I've been doing in the Nether. I have been item duplicating. But I haven't been duplicating the sand because I want it to be that I want to be as little using of this technique as possible. So I've just been using it to duplicate shulker shells. As you can see, all of these have got shulker shells in them. And that is the only thing I am allowing myself to duplicate in this. So, this is a total amount of shulker shells that I've been managed to duplicate so far, mainly because it turns out that you can actually lose the items if you do duplicating this way, if the hopper unloads. I'll leave a link to a tutorial. There is a mod. Oh, hello. Yeah, as you can see here, these guys have actually duplicated their shulker shells. So then you can take them out, and then you flick the lever again, and then every time these chunks unload, there is a chance that these hoppers will either duplicate or delete the items within them. Because I really press F3 and G, as you can see, this little white yellow line here is the chunk boundary. So we got the hoppers running over the chunk boundary, and as these as chunks load one after the other, kind of, it's like really fast. You can kind of see it here, as you can see. These guys all blink, and then these four blink, and every press F3G, you can see that these four are in a different chunk, and I've got no idea where this guy is offset to everyone else. But yeah, so this is the way that we are duplicating shulkers. However, this is not the way that we're going to be duplicating sand, no. For the sand, we are going to be using the end, because we need to use the end portal. So I'm going to show quickly on a creative world what we're going to build. Okay, so welcome to my creative redstone world, where I have some interesting designs. Some have been on videos, some haven't. This is kind of my thought process world. So if we come over here, past the cactus farm, we have got what we're going to be building. So what we need to do is we need to do this. Nope. I need to also remember how it gets built. Is it on here? There we go. Okay. So basically what's happening here is that every time the sand touches the end portal, it actually gets taken into the end portal. However, because this sticky piston here pushes it away, it doesn't get taken all the way through. So all of this timing here is actually a clock activating these three pistons in succession. And if we go through the portal, as you can see, this is what the end looks like. And in terms of collection, this is all the collection you need. So it goes into a hopper. And the best thing about this is if we turn it back on, and this time, if we go through, as you can see, the end loads while we are in the other dimension, because otherwise those items won't be in there. Alternatively, we could have chunk loaders in the end portal area, but we can just have a hopper running into a few chests over on this side, which is fine and dandy for our purposes. We can move them into shulker boxes once we're done. So yeah, there are a few issues with this design. The first being it is really not efficient at all. There are Ilmango has made many faster designs. I do believe it does work with dragon eggs, at least. Let's just quickly test that. Because we're going to need dragon eggs for breaking. Yes. This is another issue. If you unload the chunks, the sand will fall off. So yeah, that's an issue. Right, let's see whether dragon eggs will work. No. Okay. Right, we're gonna have to build another. I might have to use the hopper trick for duplicating dragon eggs, because in order to remove these blocks here, we need to use dragon eggs to drop while they are in lazy chunks, and if they drop onto a block while in a lazy chunk, it will delete the block that it falls onto. I will give a, I'll leave a thing in the video description as to how to do lazy chunks, but we are going to go over to the, to our end portal, and I am going to begin work on setting up the lazy chunks. So we'll be back in just a jiffy. Don't you just love it when a plan comes together? The bedrock, the first bit of the bedrock is gone, and we have our dragon egg residing down here, ready to be picked up. So I decided to do one just to test whether I had the right distance, and it is the right distance, which is always good. So I'm going to show how I did it for the next two, and then we will go to other things, because I've been looking at the video length, and I don't think I've got enough time to build the sand generator and get this out on the correct day. So I will build it between videos, and hopefully by Sunday, which is when I'm hoping to get the next video out, we should have this all built. So I require bastiones, a few blocks, and some redstone dust. That should be enough. And what we're going to do is we're going to do pistons like this, and we need to turn on everything. I suppose what we could do is we could just add another inverter into this and save myself another trek, which we'll do like this. There we go. So yeah, and we need to go like this. So basically, and this guy can go. Basically, when you go into a semi-unloaded chunk, which is called a lazy chunk, which has the two chunks on the outskirts of your render distance. I've set mine down to 8 because it's easier for when I'm item duplicating, because that works on similar principles when you unload the chunks that the hoppers are in. So it means I don't have to travel as far as on a rail, and for this, it means I don't have to run a redstone line, because basically we're going to the two furthermost chunks out of our chunk loading, so 8 chunks in every direction. So from this chunk, 8 out. So from this line here, it's 8 after that, I believe, or it's possibly 7, and this is counted as the central one. I'm not entirely certain. So, but when we unload the chunks, these pistons, and turn off the redstone, these pistons will attract, the dragon eggs will still drop, and they will actually delete any blocks they fall through, because they're mini pies. For some reason, dragon eggs are treated differently to other tile entities, possibly because they're like meant to be rare. I've only got 4 at the moment, but in time I'll have more. So I'm going to quickly head down to the bottom of this thingamadoobery. For thingamadoobery, that should really be called a tunnel, and as you can see down here, we have a lever. So when I flick this lever, the pistons back there are going to retract. So hopefully, as long as nothing has gone wrong, I don't have any ender pearls. So moment of truth. Yeah, there we go. So now we have an entire side of bedrock, of empty space where the bedrock used to be to play with, which is what we want. We want to put our thingamadoobies there. Our sand generator, that's what it's called. So yeah, we're going to not work on it today. We're going to work on it tomorrow, and something I will need to do now is tear out all of this redstone, because it's a long line and redstone is fairly scarce at the moment for me until I build the witch farm storage. So yeah, we are going to build. I'm going to build the sandstone, the sand generator off camera, and I'll probably build a small storage system in the end. But there is one last thing we're going to do before we go, and that is to head back to the iron farms. And that is because we have some bad news with the iron farms. I did unfortunately miscalculate, and they are too close to each other. So if we come up here, I now finished off that one, but we're going to have to shift both of them back by 2. Because I AFK'd overnight and not a single iron golem spawned, so I checked with a village centre mod, and it turns out that the centre is slap bang in the middle here. So they are just a little bit too close to each other. So I think if I move both of them back by 2 and check in the mod whether it works, I have to load it into a different version though, which is a bit of a pain. So these guys here will live on this slab here, this guy will live back. It'll be less effort than it was to rebuild it, but it is still quite a big pain, because I'm going to have to remove all of these doors, and I'm going to have to do it on the other side as well. Basically, I've got a lot of refurbishment to do in this area again. So yeah, that will happen between videos. I am rather annoyed that my calculations were off, because I do kind of want to just get a steady supply of iron going to fuel my more industrial needs. So yeah, that's a bit of the thing, but I'll do that off camera like the other thing. So it won't take too long. And then when we do that, I will kind of show how the water streams were done for this one, and I have fallen into the water. Let's build another of our. These are like little kind of splash recovery units. SRUs. Which are basically, if you fall into the water, you can then jump up by the chest. As you can see, since I built that one, we have had no new iron, and I actually removed all of the iron out. Now I have. I have now removed all the iron out, because I was expecting to get more, and yeah. That hasn't been any more since I went to that FK session. But I still have a few stacks left, so it's not the end of the world just yet, but I will need to keep an eye on my iron consumption, because I did use like 2.5 stacks just on the third dig that we did. There is a guy trying to shoot me. Yeah, the dig for the thingamadoobies and the Whizzo flips. I know what I'm talking about, honest. Please don't kill me. Alright, so thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. And now I need to go and collect my stuff from the seafloor. As you can see, my old skin is back thanks to a certain monkey. I hoped into his stream and he offered to recover my skin. So yeah, I now have my old skin back. Woohoo! So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye bye.